Good evening, traders. Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well and that you've had a nice weekend. It is Sunday, which means it is time for yet another weekly market profile forecast where we discuss the ES and NQ futures markets from a weekly and session profile basis. We will also take a look at the weekly candlestick charts. And for those of you guys who are new to this channel, welcome. And if you are new to market profile analysis in general, let me just say, watch this video, mark off these levels, especially if you are new to the profile, and watch how price reacts to these levels. And I bet you will want to dig into the market profile quite a bit more after watching this video and watching how price reacts to these market profile levels. So with that said, we're going to jump into the charts here. We're going to take a look at the market profile for ES and NQ futures. And I'm going to give you guys some great levels to, at the very least, keep an eye out for, but very likely be able to take high probability trade opportunity from as well. So let us dive in. So what I have up here is the NQ session profile. What I'm going to be looking at, or what I think that you guys should very likely be paying attention to along with me, is the fact that we're basically smack dab between two naked point of controls. Now, we have a naked point of control up here. That is the POC from the regular trading hour session of June 16th at 15,367.25. And then we also have a naked POC down here at 14,850, which is the point of control from the June 12th regular trading hour session. Now, if I zoom out on the session profile, once again, you can see that we're basically right in the middle of these two profiles. Now, most immediately, what I will be looking at is the reaction to Friday's profile. Friday's profile, or the reaction to Friday's high and or Friday's low, is likely going to be telling in regards to which naked point of control we tap, right? So what I mean by that is if we move and hold above Friday's high at 15,155, well, at the very least, we're likely to get a test of Thursday's value area high at 15,181. And if that holds a support, we're very likely to get a test of this area between 15,220 and 15,240, which is the high from June 21st and the high from June 22nd. Now, acceptance above these highs, it's also the overnight high from Thursday into Friday at 234. So if we can move and hold above this area right here, right, then it's very likely that we get acceptance and move into these levels and furthermore tap this naked POC to the upside. So that is my thought for upside pressure. Now on the downside, if we get sell side pressure, if we can't move and hold at least above the POC from Friday, or I'm sorry, POC from Thursday at 15,114 and the overnight POC from Thursday into Friday at 15,140-ish, call it, then I do think that we are likely to see a retest of the overnight low from Thursday into Friday at 1519, the value area low of Friday from at 15,004, and then the Friday's low is 20 points below that at 985, and then we've got Thursday's low and the overnight low from Wednesday into Thursday right around 14,970. So you guys can see here, it's a pretty simple concept when it comes down to it, but patience is not necessarily as simple for us as human beings, and that is what we absolutely must exercise when we are waiting for moves. When we have very clear areas of liquidity that price is likely to gravitate to, just because we have these naked POCs doesn't mean they're going to get tapped, right? It's very, very important to wait and watch to see what happens. When it comes down to it, we could technically just range in between here all the coming week. Do I think that we do that? No, I personally don't. But my opinion doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. It's all about watching what price does at these levels and then making our decisions based on that price action. Price action is king. I'll say it again. Price action is king. Wait, watch what happens at the levels, especially, once again, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face, especially if you guys are new to the profile, simply just mark up 15,234, 238, 15,181, 147, 15,112. 15,076, 15,019, 14,985, 15,004, right? These are all very important areas from the prior week's trading. So we must acknowledge that, we must be aware of that, and most importantly, in my opinion, we must use that to our advantage. So moving on into the NQ weekly profile, once again, for those of you guys new to the channel, new to these videos, each one of these profiles represents 1 week of regular trading hours price action. So I do not include the overnight price action in these weekly profiles because I want to see the RTH information. And what I am looking at here is a very important area, once again, from last week's value area low, that is 15,074, and then the prior week's value area low at 15,064. If we cannot hold 15,060, call it, as support, we are very likely, in my opinion, going back down to fill in this weak structure down here at the bottom of last week's profile. You can see that we have single prints down here on the weekly, which means that price did not spend very much time at all between 14,964 and 15,000. So just to put this very clearly, if we cannot hold the value area low from the week of June 12th, which is 15,064 even, I think that we at the very least get a test of 64 points lower, 60 points lower of 15K. Now, if 15K breaks, I think we get a very quick test of 14,964, which is last week's low. Okay. Now, if 964 breaks, we do have thin structure from the prior week, and I could see us coming back down to 14,870 to test the weekly high from the week of June 5th as well. So that should give you guys some good levels and good information on the downside. Now, if we do hold 15,064 as support, I will be looking for a move back up to test last week's point of control at 15,244. And if that holds as support, look for a move up to the value area high from last week at 15,274, and then further upside to test last week's high at 15,310. And once again, we have a weekly naked POC from the June 12th weekly profile at 364. Let me just test what this is. Yeah, so basically the same weekly naked POC, 367 on the session and 364 on the weekly. So 15,364 going to be a very important area and an area that I'm going to be looking towards if we do start to get some upside pressure back above like 15.2K. So with that said, let's hop on over into the ES session profile. Pretty interesting scenario on ES as we are a bit closer to a naked POC, and we have 3 naked POCs on ES on the session profile. So we have a naked POC down here at 43.61, POC from June 12th, same session as NQ. We've got a naked POC from the June 20th regular trading hour session at 44.34 and a quarter. And then we have another one from the 16th session, which is the one that NQ is showing on the upside as well at 44.72 and a quarter. So these are going to be some great trade opportunities. Once again, let's just keep it simple. If Friday's low breaks, which is also the Thursday into Friday overnight low, very, very likely we get downside pressure, especially, if buyers don't step in at, one of these prior levels, such as 43.83, 43.76, or 43.70. So if you see 43.93 break to the downside on ES, I wouldn't go for a 30-point trade immediately. I would keep an eye on 83, 76, 69, and then if like 67, 69 just breaks to the downside, this little zone here, I think it's a very, very high probability that we get that tap of 61. Perhaps this holds as support. If it doesn't, look for a move into 43.50. Now, upside, if we get acceptance back above the value area low or back into value from Friday at above 4,400, look for a move to 44.10, 44.13, 44.16 as well, which is the value high from Friday. 44.18 and 19 are the overnight low and the value high. So the overnight low from the 20th into 21st are overnight session, and then the value area high from the June 21st regular trading hour session. So those, once again, good levels to look at. And I think if we get acceptance above 44.20, price is very likely to grind up into Thursday's high, Friday's high, of course, before Thursday's high, and then that naked POC at 44.34. So that should give you guys some great levels to look at on the upside from a session basis as well. Now, last but not least, let's hop on over into the ES weekly profile. Same deal here. This is a regular trading hours weekly profile representing 5 days of regular trading hours price action. And very, very similar scenario. I want to see last week's low hold, basically. If last week's low breaks, 43.70, and then, I think it's pretty likely we tap this weekly naked POC 43.38, and that is, let's see. Nope, we don't have a naked. We have a naked POC 30 points above that on the session. So keep in mind, if we break this 43.61, we have this area right here on the weekly, which has, you can see, immense confluence. Value area high from the second, is that second? Overnight high from the 4th into 5th, POC from the 5th, range high from the 6th, overnight POC from the 6th into 7th, POC from the 8th, overnight POC from the 8th into the 9th, range low from the 9th. So just a ton. Obviously that's why it's the weekly POC, because that is where the most trading activity, volume, transactions took place in that entire week. So very, very important area there. Keep an eye out for a move down to 43.40-ish if we do see some sell side pressure into the week. And that's also the monthly volume composite. 43.33 to be precise is the monthly volume point of control on ES. So that is a very important area. And if we do get down there, it could be a good level for support. If not, further downside, very likely into, you know, these levels and maybe even this naked POC down there on the weekly. So let's hop on over into the weekly candlestick charts to show you guys basically, I mean, the same thing we've been looking at for weeks, but I just want to give you, you know, further ideas and implications if certain things happen. So let's hop on over into the candle chart. Okay, so I've got NQ pulled up here first. One thing I want to point out is that we do have, I mean, it's not a super strong bearish candle by any means, but we really have our largest bearish candle in quite some time. I mean, a couple months, really. So what I'll be looking for is the reaction to this candle, or where this new weekly candle closes in relation to this one. So if we close above last week's high at 15,322.50, very, very likely further upside into, I like this 15,670 level, a little bit above that, 15,818. And then I like the confluence here as well, swing high from September 21, another swing high from January 2022. So that is what I would be looking at for further upside if we do get, you know, a closure this weekly candle above last week's weekly candle. Of course, we're going to have to wait until the end of this week to see that. But even, I'll say this, if we trade above 15,311, very likely we get upside and test 15,483. And if we trade below last week's low at 14,964, very likely we get a retest of 14,876. And then probably into the 750-ish area. This is 14,732. I'm marking off right here. But I think it's important to treat these as zones instead of, you know, specific static levels. So that's what I'm looking at on the weekly candlestick chart for NQ. Let's move on over to ES. I mean, very, very similar situation here. We really just want to see what kind of reaction we get to last week's high and last week's low. Trading below last week's low very likely gets us further downside pressure. Trading above last week's high very likely gets us further upside pressure into 44.90-ish to the upside. And then furthermore, I would say 45.40. And then I like 45.80-ish, you know, so those are some upside levels for you if we do break above last week's high. If we break below last week's low, look for a move. I'd say first and foremost 43.70, 43.50. And I mean, let's see what kind of confluence we got working here. Maybe like, I mean, 43.20-ish, something like that. And then we can just pop over to the market profile just so you guys can see the comparison of these levels that I have marked off, right? So these are the levels that I marked off from the candlestick chart. You can see that they're quite confluent with the weekly market profile. So with that said, I will make an honorable mention to this bull flag that is still intact, basically until or unless we break back below like 38.80 on ES or below, well, I'd say like 12.980 on NQ. But I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. We've talked about that in a ton of videos. You guys can see the measured moves. Always fun on the mental masturbation end of things. But with that said, I want to wish you guys a great week ahead. I want to remind you to trade safe, follow your edge, stay patient, and do not throw all of your hard work away just because you want to make money or pass an evaluation. Remind yourself that it is truly cliche, but it is also very true that slow and steady wins the race in the game of trading. And that is what we do in the trading network, is we take things slow. We trade our edge. We follow our rules, as I have discussed many, many times. And it is important to make sure that you have a system. So if you guys are interested in learning more about what we do here at the Trading Network, please check out our website at thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the Trading Network Pro Trader Bundle, which includes lifetime access to our private Discord, where we live stream our trading every single day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. It also includes access to our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, where I teach the very strategies that we trade on live stream on a daily basis. We teach a trending strategy, a ranging strategy, and a reversal strategy. It is vital that you have multiple plays for different market conditions or different game scenarios, if you will. And if you guys are interested in a more catered one-on-one experience to your strengths and weaknesses as a trader, I also offer one-on-one mentorship in the form of a 4-week and a 10-week program, which you can learn more about on our website. And you can schedule a 15-minute free consultation with me to see if mentorship would be a good fit for you. If you guys have any questions about any of the analysis that I have presented tonight, if you have any questions about anything on our website or any of the products we offer, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also email us at info@thetradingnetwork.io or shoot us a DM on Instagram at the.trading.network, and we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can and help any way we can. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Trade safe.